Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video in Wild Rift. So today we're back with more 5.3 content, and today we're back with a Jinx updated complete guide. So of course, as with all these, before we really get into it, don't forget to check out Jinx's basic guide that I'll put up in the cards above. For her skills, delivering order tips and tricks, as well as a couple of combos. But if we got that out of the way already, now let's move into talking about her loadout. So pretty much nothing has changed with her build. You can see that this build has been the same since patch 5.1, so really hasn't been changed in a long time. And in case you guys were wondering very briefly, I think Storm Razor is an okay item on Jinx, but I think that Bloodthirster is just so much better on Jinx, and I'll talk a little bit more about it in the gameplay perhaps, but let's get into the build and how it works. So first up, we're going to start with the Gluttonous Greaves, AD Omni Vamp, Bloodthirster AD Physical Vamp, and just a pure stat stick kind of item. Then we go for Runans. Now Runans, a really good item on Jinx, gives you the attack speed, a little bit of on hit, a little bit of AD, but mostly the important part is it allows you to attack 3 people at the same time. And with Jinx, if you are in rocket form and people are standing close together, each of those rockets are going to explode near each other, and it's gonna deal multiple instances of splash damage. So Jinx and Runan's interaction is just amazing, and also Runan's insane range is also amazing. And then we have Magnetic Blaster for even more attack speed, as well as of course the attack range, which comes in very handy with the rockets. And then we have IE just to give you more AD and boost your crit damage. And finally, you have Mold Reminder for Armor Pen and Grievous Wounds. Now, you don't have any defensive items in this build, but you do deal an insane amount of damage. So looking at the runes, we have Lethal Tempo for the attack speed and the attack range. We have Brutal just for more auto attack damage, since you auto attack a lot. Giant Slayer in general is going to be better just to counter the tanky targets. And of course, Coup de Grace could also work well here. And then for the last one, you could go for either Alacrity for the attack speed, or you could go for Bloodline for the Omni Vamp, depending on what you prefer, because you already have a lot of attack speed and a lot of healing in your build, so it's kind of your preference. And I always go for Bone Plating, just for that extra, defensive capabilities in lane as well as in the later stages of the game. And spells, as far as it goes, I try to go for Flash and Ghost every single game. Rarely do I ever take Exhaust, because Ghost is just so good on Jinx to just combo with your passive. The movement speed you get is insane. But with all that out the way, let's jump into this very exciting gameplay. Alrighty, so now we're moving on to the gameplay. As usual, before we really get into it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll of course be sure to address them. And we have a lot more patch 5.3, updated complete guides coming out in the near future. We have champions lined up, like Vayne, like Caitlyn, and Ashe as well, coming out in the next couple of days. So stay tuned for that. So, a couple of things to talk about. Now, firstly, I'm going to state the obvious, which is you guys can see from the title and the thumbnail that we're going to get into a 14k gold deficit, eventually. So we are going to be losing quite a bit, but we are going to be able to come back. And kind of really one of the key reasons why that's the case is because we're playing Jinx with Milio. Now, honestly, I think Milio is so OP as a support, especially if you happen to be in dual queue. In solo queue, it's still insane, to be honest, but the main issue with playing Milio in solo queue is that you have to rely on your ADC to be good, to actually make use of the range. Because, like, imagine in this game, right, if this was Milio in solo queue, if you give your range to Ahri, Volibear, or Darius, it's really not going to be very useful. You have to give the range to the Jinx, and if the Jinx is feeding, good luck to you as a Milio in solo queue. But anyways, like you see, Milio gives you the range, and then you can basically auto attack from so high range, and the enemies can touch you. And especially when you rank up your Q to like the 4th rank and you're using your rockets and you get all of that bonus range, you're literally going to be untouchable. There's almost nothing that can touch you. I mean, because if Milio is on your team, he's not on the enemy team. So even like a Caitlyn is not going to be able to touch you with as Jinx with rockets and a Milio. Especially if you stack up your lethal tempo, it's just going to be absurd. And when you have your Runans, it's going to be even more absurd. We'll get to that eventually in the gameplay. But yeah, so Milio, I would say definitely is one of the best supports for Jinx. I still think Lulu is actually better because Lulu can actually protect Jinx. But then again, you could argue that Milio can't really protect Jinx, but Milio is going to make it such that Jinx is so far away, she doesn't even need to be protected in the first place. So yeah, up there definitely Yuumi, Lulu, Milio, definitely the best supports for Jinx. But yeah, Jinx kind of works with anybody in reality. Yeah. So we're gonna get into the Stormrazor discussion. So Stormrazor, as we know, got buffed, right? It now not only does damage, burst damage, but it also slows the enemy and gives you movement speed. I mean, it always slow the enemy, by the way. The main change is the movement speed. Now, Volibear randomly comes in for a gang. I'm not sure what the plan there was. But yeah, it now gives you the extra movement speed. Now, why do I think this is both okay and like meh for Jinx? Well, basically, Stormrazor is a early game item, right? Because it gives you a flat 60 movement speed, and the damage does scale up a little bit in terms of the Stormrazor, you know, passive damage. But Stormrazor, for the most part, is an early game item, so it's really useful on champions like Jhin or Caitlyn, who want to get off a lot of damage in the early game, and this item's damage and just the movement speed falls off in the late game. So it's really only very useful in the early game. Jinx is not an early game champion, so getting like Stormrazor early does help you if, for example, you get a couple of kills in the early game. But in the grand scheme of things, Bloodthirster is just always going to be better, even if you get fed. Simply due to the fact that Bloodthirster is just a way better item on Jinx, because Jinx is a 3-item ADC, and what I mean by that is, on 1 item, of course she gets better, on 2 items, of course she gets better, but on 3 items is really where it's at. Now here Thresh goes in for the engage. Samira basically does nothing here. She's not really able to do anything. I get the kill onto Thresh. Samira, like, basically is already in the fight and can't really get out, and we're able to actually pick up an early double kill. So, like, if there was really a match to go Stormrazor, you could say maybe this is the match, like, because of the fact that you know, we got 2 early game kills, which is not every day you get 2 early game kills in lane on Jinx. However, as I said, I think Bloodthirster is just a superior item, like, you know, 9 out of 10 times to Stormrazor. You know, the only rare instances that Stormrazor is actually better than Bloodthirster is if you pick up your Stormrazor, you get back to lane, you keep getting kills because of the Stormrazor in the early game, and you snowball to an extent that Stormrazor gets a lot of value. That is one of those instances, but you know, in the 9 other instances, you know, Bloodthirster is just better, which is why I still say Bloodthirster is the ideal build. So here, we know whenever Milio gives you the range, you want to just launch off a couple of rockets just to get a little bit of poke in on the enemy. Now, maybe if you're playing against Soraka, maybe not, but in general, you always want to make use of the range Milio gives you to land some poke. Really, this range is going to become insane when Milio maxes the W, and also when you max your rockets, which is going to be around the same time, which is going to be roughly around level 7, level 8, which is almost now, to be honest, but yeah, it's around then. And of course, when you get items and, you know, you can actually make use of that range to do insane amounts of damage, that's when it really is going to go insane. Now here Milio is caught in a little bit of a pickle, has to flash out. Samira does get the ult off though and does end up killing Milio, unfortunately. I still have the remnants of the range, and I'm actually using it on the Thresh to try to finish him off, but you know, I'm an early game Jinx, I don't quite have the damage to do so, but I still have a decent lead against the Samira. Now if we take a look at the match now, my team is losing by like 3k. It's not really that bad of a situation yet. It's not uncommon, I guess, to be losing, you know, by 3k at 5 minutes. I mean, yeah, it does happen. Like, I have an 0-2 top lane, I have an 0-2 mid lane, and my jungle is you know, is actually in the lead versus the enemy jungle. So it's still not like, you know, it's not doomed. It's still an okay game. It only really goes downhill a little bit later on. And I'm saying this all because, like, it's quite obvious it's going to happen based on the thumbnail anyway, so nothing really to hide here. Now here we're using the melee range to pelt Nunu. Nunu has 1 HP, has to flash away, and I'm not able to get the reset. Now, issue is that I run out of mana, and we're playing way too aggressive here. I don't think we should be committing this deep in. Now Ahri, you will notice a trend of Ahri. She ults in, misses Q, misses Charm, and she's 0-2. So you might wonder, like, you know, how did she end up 0-2? Well, the answer is, look at this. She dashes in, gets flayed in by a Thresh, and just dies. Right? And she hits absolutely nothing, so she's kind of not very good. And here Milio unfortunately lets the Samira full stack onto him and gets the ult off, and then gets the reset off of him, and then dashes onto me, so I die as well. But the good news is that we do pick up our Bloodthirster. So now I'm thinking that, oh boy, it's a hard game. I have a 0-3 top, 0-3 mid, and by 0-3 I mean 0-3 and 0, so literally no KP whatsoever. In fact, me and Milio are the only people actually with any KP. No one else on my team has any KP whatsoever, which is definitely a disastrous situation when you're 6.5 minutes into the game and your team is not able to get basically any kills. And of course now the goal gap is widening to 6k, but the thing about this is that if you're playing like a champion like for example like Draven, I think the game is pretty much over at this point. If you're playing like a champion like Draven, you know, it's just done. But you know, Jinx is a champion that when you hit like 3 items, if the enemy team makes a mistake, gives you a reset, there's always a chance to get back to the game, similar to other champions like Samira, For example, like, you know, you could be very far behind, the enemy team makes a mistake, gives you a reset, lets you charge up your ult, lets you ult, like, and you kill like 3 people randomly at one fight, the game could swing. So playing Jinx, you never really want to give up, especially in this particular game where there aren't any assassins, right? Gwen is not an assassin. Nunu can come in at weird angles, but he's not an assassin. Heimerdinger is far from an assassin. This is the super duper OP release Heimerdinger, by the way. He is OP, but he has to set up his turrets, and he is not like he can. I mean, he can actually one-shot you if he hits like an EW. I believe he can one-shot you, but you know, he's not like a Rengar or Kha'Zix that you have zero counterplay against. Right, so here I try to help with the rocket mid, but it doesn't really do anything. Not even going to pan the camera there to show you guys what's going on, because it's really nothing is going on, because my Ahri's busy like trying to survive, and my Darius is 1 HP, and flaming the whole team for not helping him with his lane. And Gwen is now knocking on the door of the inhibitor, which I'm not sure what to say about that. Anyway, so yeah. Samira and Thresh is the closest thing you could get to an assassin, where if Thresh engages on you, Samira follows up, and basically you get assassinated. But even so, you're not going to get one shot in 0.5 seconds. So I think that, you know, there's always kind of counterplay here. So here you can see I'm just unloading onto the Thresh. Unfortunately, hooks me, flays, doesn't flay me actually, but here I'm stuck behind the enemies, and there's really nothing I can do here, because now I'm stuck like between me and my tower has the enemy bot lane right there. So here Ahri comes in again, ults in, misses everything yet again, and yeah, that's kind of basically the trend the whole game. The Ahri, in my opinion, does basically next to nothing the whole game. She literally cannot hit any spells, and yeah, so now my whole team is defending a tier 2 tower and starting a fight here. Meanwhile, the Gwen is taking our inhibitor for free. I respawn trying to stop her, but obviously I cannot stop Gwen from taking an inhibitor, you know, without just straight up dying. My whole team dies, and I'm the only one left alive. Samira picks up a quadra kill, and yeah, it's yeah. I mean, at this point, if you take a look at the goal now, the enemy team is now 13k gold ahead of us, and it's not a real big wonder why. We have 0-4 and 0 in both mid and top. We have an 0 into jungle. And, you know, my support's died a couple of times as well. Honestly, I've died twice as well, but at least I'm killing people and I'm being kind of useful and I'm scaling up, right? But yeah, egregious. So here, Heimerdinger gets a pretty greedy recall, Gwen as well. And here we're trying to actually punish, but the issue is that we have literally no damage, and there's nothing really we can punish with. Now, the good news is, the fact that the inhibitor is taken means that there are going to be super minions piling in. Now, that's a bad thing in the sense that, for example, you see Dragon has spawned here, so we're forced to respond to this minion wave, and as a result, we can't really do Dragon. But honestly, I would argue that we couldn't do Dragon anyway. I mean, we're like 13k gold behind. Like, how are we gonna do Dragon, right? So in the meantime, I'm just you know, collecting farm, and I'm gonna, I believe, pick up Runans here, maybe, or maybe it's just a recurve bow. Yeah, it's just a recurve bow. But either way, my point is that really what we want as Jinx, and as a Jinx who's in a team that's 13k gold behind, like at this point in time, we're 14k gold behind. There's 2 kills, and I'm the person with the 2 kills. Like, what a disaster. So here, enemy team is heavy committing in onto Milo. Milo actually survives for a long time, but here you can see I'm free firing onto them for a while at least. But the issue is I can't really finish anyone off. I don't have that kind of damage. I nearly sniped the Gwen actually. If she was just a little bit to the right, I would have hit her, and that probably would have killed. But at this point, we lose another inhibitor to Heimerdinger this time. Heimerdinger, you can see, basically does half my HP with 1W. And I finally pick up my Runans. Our third inhibitor is going down. And yeah, so here is where the enemy team overextends. So here Samira gets caught. She has a huge shutdown. I get the shutdown. Heimerdinger is now getting caught as well. My Milo actually blocks the entire Heimer W for me, and I'm able to finish him off based off of that. Now Thresh and Nunu, who have no damage, are running for the hills, and everybody... I'm sorry, not Thresh and Nunu, Gwen and Nunu are running for the hills. And because of that, we're able to actually pick up 2 kills, 2 shutdowns, and we're also going to likely be able to pick up mid lane inhibitor. Not inhibitor, mid lane tier 1 tower. What the hell am I talking about? The mid lane tier 1 tower, which has an objective bounty. So here I'm trying to collect the next wave. Ahri apparently only knows how to hit her spells on the wave, steals 2 minions. And here you can see I'm ignoring the Gwen. Ahri for some reason goes in on the Gwen. Makes no sense whatsoever. And here I am focusing the inhibitor. Inhibitor goes down, and yeah, I'm trying to see if we can get anything more, but enemy team is respawning, so that's not very likely. We're gonna have to retreat. But if you look at the bot wave is stacking up again. Now, as I say, as long as you can actually manage to collect the waves, this is actually a very good thing. So here you can see there are 3 people in top, Heimer is in mid, so I'm really safe to just collect this entire wave. So look at all of this gold that I'm getting just from all of these minions that have stacked up and have pushed in. The next wave is even here, but I don't even need the next wave. I want to reset to buy my items to get to 3 items. So here I'm actually hit 3 items. I'm 4-2-1, and now we have recouped our 14k gold deficit to now a 5k gold deficit, which is, we literally just got 10k gold in the last like few minutes of the game. And here again, there's more waves to collect. Bot wave is, you know, kind of accumulating again, and I'm realizing that, you know, at top, no point going there, that whoever that is Volley Bear is just gonna die. Instead, I'd rather come here to collect this wave and defend against the Gwen. Our inhibitors are going to be respawning soon though, which is a very good thing, because at this point we're getting closer to like dragons and barons, and we don't want to have super minion waves piling into our base anymore, because we've gotten the gold that we need to hit 3 items, and we don't want that. We don't want all that gold anymore. So here I actually survived because of Milio, and I nearly actually killed someone. But here I'm actually going to try to snipe with the rocket. It actually hits Thresh, but he doesn't actually die, unfortunately. But what we are going to do here is we are going to quickly run back to the base, restore our health, and the enemy team again looks like it's overcommitting onto a fight. So here they're relatively lower, so I'm looking for an opportunity to kill somebody, and let's see if they actually give it to me. Looks like the answer is no, and they're actually backing out. So here I'm going for this bot wave, again, which is the last of the super minions because the inhibitor have respawned. So here, look at all that juicy gold that I'm getting. I'm 13k gold. I actually have the most gold in the game at this point, funnily enough. Heimer is on a very greedy recall. I have the range from Milio, I have the rockets, and we get the kill onto Heimer. We go on a killing spree, and just look at the runes popping off there. It's killing like his turrets and the minions and him at the same time. Gwen is still 5-0 though. She still has a shutdown. Nunu is here as well. Wow, that damage. So here we're kiting out the Nunu as well as the Gwen, popping the summoner spells. I'm nearly dead, I have to flash away, but I realized that we can actually turn. So here I tried a rocket, I missed, but I have the range to actually turn with Milio if Milio's spell comes back up. So here we kill Samir, we get the reset, we're trying to finish the Gwen. Gwen is 1 HP. Unfortunately, Thresh hooks me, and I'm really slow on the QSS. I kind of forgot that I had it, to be honest. And here I'm going to get Nunu instead. Darius gets the Nunu, I get the reset, but unfortunately I'm pretty low on health, I'm pretty low on mana, so I don't really want to continue the chase. I want to actually back and try to save my top main inhibitor. It looks like I'm not going to be able to make it there. Volley Bear is though, so he's going to try to save it instead, and rushing out of the base, the Volley Bear actually saves it with 94 HP, and Ice Drake and Baron are both up. So here Nunu and Samira are dead. This is a good opportunity to attempt to try to get an objective bounty from one of those you know, major objectives. I mean, you know, it's arguable if Dragon is a major objective at this point, but the objective bounty actually falls off. Gwen is actually trying to do it by herself, pops the Hallowed Mist and has to hop back over the wall because she doesn't have a jungler. To be honest, my jungler isn't here either, and I'm the one that actually ends up basically getting it. He comes in for the smite though, and here we get the reset off of the dragon. I'm trying to blast people down. Just look at that insane damage. Samira actually goes down, and I'm able to get the reset. I actually go to push in the minion wave. My team is still fighting. I'm trying to rejoin the fight. I'm running down the Nunu. Nunu is at full health, by the way. I slow him down, and I'm basically running down. I get the reset, and then I go on to Heimer. I'm just tanking tower with the help of Milio, and then we kill Gwen as well. Gwen cops her first death of the game, and with that, we have a mid wave because I pushed in that mid wave just now. Look, we have just one cannon. I'm tanking the tower so the cannon doesn't die, and we actually take down the cannon again. I don't want this cannon to die, so I'm tanking like a tower shot there to make sure the cannon survives for a second longer. Next minion wave comes in, and we're just focusing down the base, just attacking the minions. I don't know why these people are attacking the minions, by the way. Like, there is a situation where attacking the minions here would have lost us the game, but thankfully we end before the respawn, and that was just insane. That game was just insane. yeah, no two ways about it. But go leave you guys with the stats. You guys can see how much damage, how much insane damage I actually did on the Jinx with the help of Milio. So I'm gonna leave you guys with the rest of the stats here. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.